This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. JUCC drivers protest police action against a colleague. Drivers employed by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company operating from the Portmore, Spanish Town, and the Rockford depots have withdrawn their service in protest against an incident involving one of their colleagues and the police on Friday night. The incident occurred at the lay-by in downtown Kingston. First, the Vice President of the University and Allied Workers Union, Clifton Grant, told the news that the drivers are demanding that the police high command address them and give the assurance that they will be protected on the roads. It's reported that the driver attached to the Rockford depot was preparing to leave the lay-by, but an unmarked police vehicle was parked in front of the bus. He requested that the car be removed but was instead instructed to reverse. When the JUCC driver refused, he was pulled from the bus, arrested, and subsequently charged. Charges laid against the driver include not wearing mask and resisting arrest. He was released on station bail. Jamaica looks to French firm Thales for improved security capability. The Jamaican government is in dialogue with a French security firm Thales in a bid to improve the country's crime-fighting capability. Prime Minister Andrew Holness shared that information at Sunday's annual conference of the governing Jamaica Labour Party. He said the discussions with the French company are advanced with a view to put in place new technology that will assist us in crime fighting. The Paris-based Thales Group is a multinational company that provides services in the fields of aerospace, defense, transportation, and security. The company on its website says government, institutions, and large global companies rely on Thales to design and deliver solutions that protect states, cities, and critical infrastructure to respond to emerging threats through cyberspace. It touts its capacity to help cities and critical infrastructure become safe and smarter, while also securing global financial markets and protecting sensitive data and keeping security forces connected on critical missions. The company's name is taken from Thales of Miletus, an early Greek scientific philosopher often referred to as the father of science.
On Friday, I met with one of the leading security technology providers in the world, Thales, a major French company. And I don't want to say too much about what we are doing, but we are well advanced in putting in place new technology that will assist us in fighting crime.
Review of Jamaican Constitution coming next year, said Holness. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that a review of the Jamaican Constitution will begin next year. He made the announcement during his address on Sunday at the Jamaica Labour Party's annual conference. Mr. Holness was not specific about what deficiencies in the Constitution have prompted the review. He pointed, however, to the country's crime situation as one of the factors which have led to the need for a review. The announcement came just days after Senate President Tom Tavares Finson called for a review of the constitutional requirement for the opposition's support to extend a state of emergency. His call followed the failed attempt by the government to have an extension of the now expired state of emergency approved in the Senate. Mr. Holness also addressed the Senate vote yesterday, suggesting the outcome was a sign of the increasing numbness to crime.
The pandemic has not only been a challenge for the health of the country, it has also thrown up inadequacies in our laws. And so too has the crime pandemic thrown up challenges with our laws. There are gaps and inadequacies and a need for reconciliation. I have asked the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General to advise me on the process of reviewing the Constitution. So yes, we do intend to start next year the process for constitutional review and the necessary reforms that may flow from that. A part of the numbness of our society, that we can now be at the point where 1,300 murders is not considered an emergency. It is not urgent. When did we become like this? I am not satisfied, and I don't consider it to be the state that a free and democratic society should be in. I don't know of any other free and democratic society that has the murder rate that we have. It is unusual. It is an emergency. I'm sorry that the opposition does not see it that way, but we respect the democracy in which we live.
Government to examine how unvaxxed infirmary workers are treated. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond Mackenzie says the time will come when an analysis of how to deal with unvaccinated workers at infirmaries will have to be done, even as government maintains its no mandatory vaccination stance. The time is going to come when we will have to examine how to treat those unvaccinated persons in the institution if they have to be dealing with the patients on a regular basis. And that is very, very important. Very important. And again, we are not forcing anybody to take the vaccination. That is not the policy of the government. But the government maintains that in order to protect the interest, especially of the vulnerable, we will have to examine how we proceed after Mackenzie explained. He was speaking against the backdrop that 30% of the infirmary staff remain unvaccinated, and Mackenzie revealed that they are being gently persuaded to get inoculated. The Prime Minister has said, and I am going to repeat it, we are not forcing anybody to get vaccinated. We are using moral persuasion, talking to persons. A percentage of those persons are persons not vaccinated who would have had issues that would have prevented them from taking the vaccine. I don't know what the numbers are, but we are still working. On a daily basis, we still find 1 and 2 going forward to take the vaccination, Mackenzie disclosed. He revealed that 87% of the residents at infirmaries across the country are vaccinated. Let me say 87% of the residents in our infirmaries are fully vaccinated, and 70% of the workers are fully vaccinated. So what that is saying to you is that we are running a program within the infirmaries that has to take into consideration the plight of the residents, because remember, these are the persons that fall within the vulnerable category of persons, he said. He was speaking at a work day at the Trelawney Infirmary in Falmouth on Thursday, which formed a part of local government and community month activities. Government to return to Parliament with new rules for board appointments. The government will make another attempt to have regulations specifying the criteria for appointment of boards of public bodies approved by Parliament following recent scandals surrounding several state entities. Prime Minister Andrew Holness confirmed on Sunday that he has instructed Finance Minister Nigel Clark to return the public bodies management and accountability regulations to Parliament and to seek to have it passed immediately. Efforts to have the regulations passed stalled in the House of Representatives last year as there was no quorum at the time of the vote. Mr. Holness, speaking at the annual conference of the governing Jamaica Labour Party in Kingston, admitted that some persons within his government also had reservations about the new rules proposed.
To be honest, there have been internal concerns on how this new regulation will limit the possibility of citizens who wish to participate in the political process and also participate in the governance process. I believe that several events over the last few years have demonstrated that the intersection between politics and governance on public boards represent an unnecessary risk and exposure to the government.
Former Prime Minister Bruce Golding also hinted at the corruption issues dogging the Holness administration and warned members of the government not to let down Jamaicans who had voted to put them in power.
I told Andrew last week that he's being forced on the back foot too often. Too often when he should be hitting boundaries and putting runs on the board, he's being forced to play defensive stroke to protect the wicket. Use a football analogy. He has to be spending too much time springing to the left and diving to the right to prevent a defender's goal. It's not fair to him. I told him last week that he has accumulated political capital that I wished I had had. I said to him, as my leader, as my successor, and as my friend, you have that political capital. Don't be afraid to use it.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.